Welcome everyone to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Joel. Buckle up, we're in for a ride of a show, as we always are. If you are new here, first off, we have this going. It means we're live. How are we gonna do a giveaway if we're not live? Type in I am awesome in chat. That's gonna enter you in for a chance to win some Polymaker filament at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. In between that, now and then, we have some 3D printing news. We've got some prints from the community to share. And what do we do every single episode? Can we see it in chat? I'll answer it because I'm not going to wait that 15 seconds. We interview a new maker every single episode. In episode 98, which is right now, is no exception to the rule. We, of course, have Kaizen 3D prints on the show. You have probably seen many amazing creations from this fella. Got a chance to actually meet him in person for a very short time at Joel Telling's stream in December, and just someone that is full of amazing energy and obviously has a craft that is unparalleled to any of mine. So we'll meet him, talk about some of those crafts and skills that he's developed over time here shortly. But until then, let's go talk some headlines. And first up, we're going to see Zellerfeld shoes. We have talked about it in many different articles. They recently teased a printer that maybe consumers or prosumers can buy to print their own shoes. Not a whole lot of detail around that yet, but this I'm showcasing because it's not the first time Zellerfeld and Nike have collabed together. But this is going to be the first time, at least that I've come across, where they're doing color instead of solid color. They're doing dual color. Of course, I'm sure they can do multiple different colors if they choose to. Where this one, of course, this one's showing kind of a purple pink, maybe a lavenderish with black. And it's just going to show with those collabs, all that's going to do is build the strength of Zellerfeld's brand, which in return gives us a lot more options out there. And then if they end up having a thing where we can buy a printer, print our own shoes every 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be, maybe somebody just is going to end up with an entire shoe collection of Zellerfeld's. Talking about you, David Tobin. I'm sure he's got many pairs of his D7s lined up, maybe in a showcase. But experiencing them themselves, they've been very good shoes. I'm actually wearing a pair right now. So again, these are solid colors, so it's going to be interesting to start seeing the options that we have for dual color, and then eventually, of course, multicolor is the next step. So we'll see it. The next up, we have Subaru, and they have adopted 3D printing quite a while ago. More so now is the news of Stratasys upgrading their hot end to allow a lot faster printing, which is reducing the time for the tooling in the Subaru's factories, what they're using a majority of their 3D printing for, by 50%. So that is cost reduction, that is, well, time reduction, which leads to cost reduction. And just going to show that, you know, Stratasys and their large format printers, large format doesn't mean it's got to take forever to print. There's the technology we've seen in the consumer side of high speed, high flow, the materials becoming, you know, faster to print. Just a lot of enhancements there that we're going to see move over into, you know, having 3D printing a lot more in mass manufacturing, even more than we have been seeing, because it's going to make more sense again with that time and even material costs. And then next up, we have something else we've talked about in the past is record breaking for the fastest electric quad drone in the world. And Luke Maximo Bell is actually, who's held the record multiple times. We talked about it last year, around June of last year. He went to Dubai, actually was racing with some of the Dubai police cars. Really cool footage there if you go to his YouTube channel, Luke Maximo Bell. So he held that record until December 8th, where Benjamin Biggs then beat his record, which is a content creator out of Australia, and got his drone up to 389 miles per hour. The previous one from Luke was 360.4 miles per hour. So significant increase, 29, almost 30 miles per hour increase. Well, that was December 8th. December 11th, Luke Maximo Bell then already was in the works since his last record breaking in June, had already been working on something. So on December 11th, Luke retook the throne at 408 mile per hour, 3D printed, battery powered drone, fastest in the world. Will he be topped? Maybe, but will he have something in the works? Likely so. So now, of course, he's been able to enhance a few things with the H2D, doing dual material. With PETG, I think he uses PA6CF, PETG, and TPU in it. And this thing is amazing to see. They have FPV footage of it. They actually made the world's second fastest drone equipped with an Insta360 camera, just so they can try to get some footage of it, in air rather than from the ground and watching it zoom past at a blink of an eye. So just really cool. Luke is an amazing person. Luke and his father actually are a team that has been chasing this record pretty often, and now maybe on a yearly basis. So stay tuned. We'll find out what they're into next. And now we have Cobra, which is, for those that might not know, if you don't golf, Cobra is one of the big brands in golfing. There's TaylorMade, there's all sorts of other brands. A lot of those brands are also working or have done 3D printed clubs. Cobra has realized that with metal 3D printing, they can do a lot more design and then weight distribution for the clubs. With that, they're able to have the lattice structure inside. So right now, if you say you have a completely casted metal club, you could put some air voids in it to shift weight, but that then creates weaknesses and points in the club that just don't work well. Where now they can actually customize the internal structure of these clubs through 3D printing, have the strength there, and still redistribute the weight to help with accuracy, speed, power, etc. All the things that the golfers want. And these have been in the hands, and again, not just Cobra, but other brands have been in the hands of professional golfers for, I'd say, at least the last year. And they're becoming more mainstream. Golfers are starting to adapt them a lot more, and even the highest level of the sport. So we'll continue seeing more from all the sports, really. And last but not least, we have consumer acceptance of 3D printable food. Another topic we've talked about. There's been many advancements on food. We've seen fish products being used. We've seen synthetic products being used, pastes, meat pastes, tofu pastes, all sorts of stuff. So actually researchers this time had created an edible plant-based honey pearl food made with hydrogels. And it wasn't just for the technology to advance things, see what they can do. They were actually doing it to test the feedback from consumers. They did a survey, and the results showed that people's perception of the food actually improved once they realized it was 3D printed. Half of those being not even understanding what the actual process was, but more entertained by the idea and more accepting of the fact because of the sustainability of 3D printing food and not having any waste, using byproducts from plants and plant cells to make 3D printed fruit foods. 3D printed fruit. Yeah, say it 10 times fast. Man, I picked some good words on this one. But again, we're going to see more and more, especially now that they're testing to see how well will it be perceived. And as big companies realize it will be perceived well, there's only one way to go, and that's they're going to be, again, saving that money, being able to customize things, doing all sorts of adjustments to texture, taste, everything. So really cool advancements in the food industry. So keep on eating, and they'll keep on printing. But that is all we have for the news. We're going to head over to Spool to Spotlight and see what you all been printing. I always take the drink like a few seconds after the transition. Never time that right. Anyway, all these prints are printed by you, the community, and shared on our Discord at discord.polymaker.com on our Show Off Prints channel. And we like to showcase random bits of them for every show. This print here is going to be by Bexy Beans. They're Genshin Impact ornaments. And they are by various artists. There was 3 different artists, but if you head over to that channel and you find those and you're a fan of Genshin Impact, she does link every single artist to the model, so that way you can find it yourself and print it to your heart's desire. All of them are available on Cults 3D. And again, go check out her post. If you see it in the Show Off Prints, click it. You're going to see the thread, and you'll be able to find the links there to print it yourself. But just Great prints. I don't know anything about Genshin Impact, but they look good. Next up, we have Plus Ultra, designed by Everything Plus Ultra, available on Maker World. This is the Stinky Mona Lisa Q-Forge. And I mean, if you want to be bougie, but a little bit humorous, this would be a perfect painting, or what it used to be called filament painting, to hang in your bathroom. And any guest to come over to sit on your toilet and have that picture hanging up there, can't tell me it's not going to be a laugh and a good conversation piece. So a very awesome print and cool design from Everything Ultra. And next up, we have something a little bit different. This is K2 Kevin. We've heard the name. He's done a few things here and there, but this is I wanted to share this. Not that it's a 3D print, of course. It's a vinyl cut, and then it's a heat press onto a shirt. The design is by K2 Kevin. Iceman is a Chicago Bears NFL player, sports ball. But more for the fact of, now that we do have some multi-use systems like the H2D with a vinyl cutter and everything else, there is a section in Maker World for vinyl cuts. So you can share designs and things like that. You don't have to go try to buy it through Cricut's Design Space or whatever else there might be, Etsy designs. We're going to start seeing a lot more of this. Like I said, I was aware of it. I never really went into that side of the world in Maker World because I don't have the attachments. But really cool. It's a fun design. Obviously, it's got some inspiration from the legend in Chicago himself, MJ. But again, you're not always going to just find 3D prints. You're going to find vinyl cuts, laser etching, etc. on Maker World. So keep your eyes peeled for new designs. Next up, we have a print by CGS Creations, and this is a design by MZM Digital, available on their Patreon. And this is the Pickle Lover Valentine's Day box. MZM does a lot of magnetic fidget stuff, and also articulated pickles, I think bananas, maybe hot dog. There's a lot of stuff. There's really fun ones. Any pickle lovers out there, I mean, this is a go-to. They have all the little conversation heart phrases, all specialized around pickle theme. And then those pickles actually come out of the box, and they're a little like, they can open their mouth. They're flexed like the South Park characters, Trey or whatever, the Canadian guys. I don't remember their name, but they're fun. Go check them out and maybe print some for a loved one. And last but not least, we have Dilligav, who has printed SpongeBob Chunk Pants by the Kit Kiln. Again, we have Kit Kiln stuff shared all the time because it is amazing. And Dilligav, I would love to know how many pieces are in your collection, because you share about 1,000 per week. I can imagine you have a room full of them. So instead of like a pop figure collection, you just have a Kit Kiln collection, which I think is just as good, if not better. But this is available on things.com if you want to print yourself, and many other characters from the Kit Kiln in the chunkable style theme. So that is it for the prints. And one last thing I do want to mention, I didn't have it on the news thing because I had 5 articles already chosen and part of the show. Printventory from TechJeeper has reached 2.0. It is available on printventory.com. If you want a cool way to sort your STLs and just be able to find what you're looking for, if you're like me and you save 8 million STLs and you haven't printed 90% of them, this might help kind of arrange them and maybe get you off your butt to go print some. This is not paid. I'm transitioning into something else that's fun. TechJeeper also, on his own merit, just as fun as a community member, has done a digital version of the Panchroma wall game. Pezlas, I don't know if you've seen the link. Printventory's there, and then if you could share the link to the digital Panchroma wall game, it's a digital version. And it's just something he threw together, and it's fun. Me and Polymaker Nicholas have already went back and forth on Discord, sharing our screenshots. I think he now holds, the last one I seen as the show started was 100. He was the first to hit it. I hit 95. Haven't hit 100 yet, but it's just a really cool project, and I just want to show some support to TechJeeper, because just showing that kind of support to us for nothing, just out of fun, is amazing. You're an awesome individual. You make great things, and you've wasted a lot of Polymaker time, so we will invoice you on the lost production. But that is it for this section of the show. We're gonna take a commercial break, and after that we'll be back to meet Kaizen 3D. Stay tuned.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Polly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go. Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch. I dropped it again from the 12th floor and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external condition. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Have you had bad customer service with your filament provider? Have you ever gotten a bad spool and never got a response when you emailed the company? Well, that won't ever happen when you reach out to Polymaker. Some people say that no company cares about you. Wrong. 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 If you never got a response after emailing a company that you've worked with in the past, you may be entitled to better customer service. We at Polymaker pride ourselves on good customer service, and we won't ever keep you waiting for a response. Email us now at support@polymaker.com and we'll get back to you within 1 business day. We'll fight for you.
And welcome back to this show. As most of you have already been talking, yes, TechJeeper is to blame for any delays or any issues. Please refer all emails to support@techjeeper.com. Not really, don't do that. But with all that out of the way, again, much appreciation to TechJeeper. But we're here to meet the next maker, and as I said earlier, amazing textiles. I was able to see a lot of collection when we were at Joel Telling Stream. We'll talk about that here more. Let's welcome in Daniel from Kaizen 3D. How's it going?
Hey, it's going well. Happy
Awesome.
happy day to you. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Like I said, I know we've been talking a little bit and got to see some of your awesome designs at Joel Telling Stream. Other than of course content, it's much different seeing in person. It's more amazing, even than seeing the videos. But real quick, for those that might not recognize the name, don't recognize the face, can you tell them real quick just who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Daniel. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I specialize in 3D printing on mesh with a variety of 3D printers, anything accessible to most hobbyists or hobbyists. And I have fun in my workshop. So this started from a couple years ago when a client asked me if I could print claws on a glove for her daughter for a Halloween costume. And I had just received a 3D printer, so I started the process. And I woke up the next morning after making a video with like 1.5 million views, and I thought, well, this is a niche that I'm going to go down. So I started with my Ender 3v2, and now I've got a couple different workshops, and I'm just having fun of just expanding on the filament collection and sharing the knowledge.
Oh yeah,
So that's
awesome.
what I do.
So now you said, of course, start with Ender 3. How long ago did you start? And that commission or whatever that request of the claws, was that the sole reason that got you into 3D printing, or had it been something that was on your mind?
So I was a massage therapist for 8 years, and one of my clients mentioned that his partner had gotten a 3D printer, and I thought that they were very expensive at the time. I thought, well, those are inaccessible. And he was like, no, they're only like $200. So that's when I got the Ender 3v2 and started printing a handful of things for my wife and just kind of learning how to 3D print. And then I got 2 Ender 3 Max Neos, and then I stepped into the realm of the P1P. And as soon as I got the P1P, then the Enders were given away. That's all she wrote. And so it was a massage client that had asked just for fun of like, hey, here's an idea for you type of thing. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go down this path. And I looked up 3D printing on fabric, and David Shorey was the first video that popped up, and I watched with his dragon scales. So him printing small little swatches, and I then tried to figure out how to pattern pieces and how to make them so they were conducive to creating a hood or creating a bag or a sweatshirt hoodie, just a variety of different things. So it's become an obsession of every day in here, 10 to 12 hours, just working away.
And you had said that you did a video on it, you woke up the next morning, and of course it blew up. Had you been doing content before that, or was that like your first foray into content?
Totally. That's a really great question. I created a social media account when we went to our first market, when we did we went to a Tiger Music Festival, and we were selling. I brought the 3D printer there and my scanner, and I was showing people just the joy of 3D printing. And I met, at that point, I think I told my wife, I said, we need to potentially capture on people that want to continue their experience. Why don't we create a social media account? And that was, I think it went from like 50 followers to from friends and family kind of seeing what I was doing, to then overnight with that one video it was like 500 followers, and then the next day was 1,000, and then it's like, oh well, now I need to be on other platforms, now I need to upload to TikTok and to YouTube, and yeah, made it a whole thing. And then it's the Facebook page of, oh well, now Instagram automatically links to that. So I was just having fun building a community of like-minded and creatives that wanted to see and expand their horizons with 3D printed textiles.
Yeah, and you said, of course, when you looked online to kind of get an idea of it, there wasn't a whole lot out there. And even now with even today, of course, tons more new 3D printers printing people, etc. There's still not a whole lot of content out there that I see on the textile stuff. There's here and there, but I think yours is still kind of the mainstream thing I see on 3D printing textiles.
Yeah, and I do a little search every now and then to see if, other than the people that I've already connected with and they're making things, which is fabulous to see. I don't see any other creative that is sharing the process from start to finish, or mainstream, like you said. Absolutely. And there were a couple people that I had followed originally. Bridget is a great one, Variable Seams. She was fantastic to meet, and I met her in Amsterdam when I went to the Printed World Conference, and just fabulous to meet all the different creatives that want to make cool stuff.
And then with of course, we've seen the 3D printing getting even more and more into fashion. Some of them just like fully 3D printed without being, onto the mesh stuff. Is do you see a more mainstream future for 3D printed fashion, especially more so like on the tool? Is that what it's called, or is it just called mesh?
Yeah, any mesh.
Difference?
Yeah, tool is a generic mesh, and then there are different grades of tool with different weights. And what I didn't know that I didn't know a couple years ago. I mean, that's phenomenal. It's like, oh, talking about sewing dragon scales onto a hood. It's just not in my wildest dreams would I think that I'm doing what I'm doing. Anyway, I digress. Yep. My brain sidetracked. What were we talking about?
I'm just like the future of the fashion. Do you think?
Oh,
we'll
yes.
see it kind of more, rather than just the. And when I say fashion, I mean I think overall consumer fashion, as opposed to like the high end, $1 million dresses.
Right, and I think there are two avenues that will kind of expand. There are a lot of sewists that don't have any 3D printing experience, and they are now getting a 3D printer because they are like master sewists and they know all of the different skill sets in that. You then have the people that are really skilled 3D printers and they don't really know about mesh. So I think that I've seen many articulated things, the chainmail prints that don't require any mesh. I think it's brilliant. It's awesome. The linking together and being able to sew them onto a base lining or something greater is the con of that. So you have different pros and cons to different approaches, and I think it's going to really 2026 is going to be an interesting year with more creatives getting the ideas. I mean, I get emails every day of, hey, have you thought of doing this and doing this? And it's like, man, if my list, I can't put anything else on my list.
Ideas.
There are so many ideas. And yeah.
I'd love to have the time to create them all, but that's the thing, time.
Yes. Yeah. And
so
take the dog on a walk and spend time, I want to spend more time with my wife and go on some camping trips. But it's like, oh, but I'm getting in more filament tomorrow, so I want to see how that looks.
Yeah, exactly. What's next? The new color, the new, what's the reaction? Now, of course, a lot of the ones that I love to see the effect that they have is, I think, is the tri-silk that you use a lot. One kind of
yeah, it depends. So yeah, without the holographic, this is an example of the tri-silk.
Okay.
And this is based on the nozzle direction, and that was the first epiphany that I had of why we can change the whole look of it based on the nozzle direction, the bottom layer pattern, and the color that we're using. Paired with the holographic, which I love so much of that light refraction. I don't know if the lighting in here will do it. Oh yeah, a little bit on there.
Yep. Yeah, so that's always such an awesome effect, especially on the textiles. It's crazy.
Yeah, the movement of it, it's every time I come out here and I get to pull something else off the build plate, it's a real joy.
I bet. And now, of course, like I said, when we were at Jolt telling stream, is you had some like gloves, you had some slip-on stuff, some wearables, but then also had the clasps or the I don't know, the clutch bags.
The clutches, purses. Yeah, yes,
yep. Yes. And those are typically almost like a kit, right? I mean, you pretty much print them and then cut the excess mesh off and then fold and glue.
Yeah, depending on what the design is. I have the other one over here, I think. Yeah, this
all
one
over the place.
Yes. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm glad I expanded into the second workshop. So this is an example of something that is patterned, so it's printed. You have the seam allowance that's already built into it, and then you have the hardware that's printed as well. Okay. So there are a couple different versions. This one you can see there's a little hand sewing that you attach then the lined bag inside of the frame. You sew it, and then there's a little holographic plate that you put over it to kind of not only protect the seam, but then give it a little
holds it in place.
Yeah, exactly. Holds it in place as well. Gives it a little flair to it. So you have a little 3D printed chain, and then a little handle that is a little decorative type of thing.
Maybe illegal in some states.
Oh yeah, it's plastic. Yes, yeah, decorative. Yeah, right.
Knuckles.
So this is an example of the two different tricolor filaments. This is one side. This is blue green red, I think, And this is
at least on camera that looks silver. That looks like a store-bought silver tile, clutch.
Okay, yeah. And let me see if I pop the UV light on this. That's one of the funnest parts of the tricolor filaments. Let's see, I'm seeing it maybe on the
Now
stream.
it's a
Let me
little
turn this
purple,
light off.
yeah. Oh, getting a little bit of the effect, yeah, kind of a little rainbow effect.
The rainbow effect, and then the some of the colors will be highlighted in just a different fashion. And now, of course, I have a bright window right here. Definitely, it's a unique bag. So this is one of. Do I have any in here? No, it's probably on the other side. This is an example of a single color print. And now that I have my pride and joy over there, the 24 color print, I can create
just a little bit more. Wow.
Yeah, I can create a textile like this. That is, and this is not on a holographic plate. This is just basic colors across the board. So that can be sewn onto a base lining. And then I haven't finished the top of it yet with the handles. But then that can be a bag for your filament or whatever you want to put in there. People will ask.
You're not going to offer those one with every with every spool of filament.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that would add on to the printing. I think the most common question that I get asked is, if I peel something off the plate, is, but yeah, what do you do with it now? And for me, the first couple of times it was like, okay, yes. And now after the 1,000th time, it has become if I had a nickel. But these can be used anywhere that a textile is called for.
Yeah.
Curtains, skirt, art, anywhere your brain can take you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I said, anything. I mean, it's pretty much, where do you see fabric used? You could use it there.
Yeah.
So now with that skill set, of course, you kind of came into unbeknownst to you of what rabbit hole you were going down. Did you have any sewing skills prior, or is that something you just learned along the way?
That is another really great question. I did not have any sewing skills prior. I made my first lace that I did. I took a picture of a wallpaper, of a skull wallpaper, and I turned it into a lithophane. And I printed the lithophane, instead of vertically, I printed it horizontally, and I sunk it below the build plate. So only the skulls were popping up out of the build plate, and that's when I added the mesh. So I had this is for a Halloween thing, and I needed to combine multiple pieces together, and I didn't know how to do that. Called my friend who is a crafter up the street. She said, well, why don't we just sew it together?
1 second here. If you can hear me, it cuts you out here. There you go. Okay. It's something with the system. It blacks you out, and then I have to bring you back in. But
okay, great.
I think we're good now. And then it cut out. Yep.
Yeah. She sat me down in front of the sewing machine, and I threaded up my first needle, and it was a blast. It took me back to a memory that I had when I was 5 years old, when I was interested in that, and something happened where I was told that sewing is not for men. It was golfing. Like, I was watching a Martha Stewart. I was learning how to French braid, and my grandpa came in and he changed it and turned it on to golf, and he said, "This is what men watch." And between then and the sewing, that was when I put my foot down on that sewing machine. It was like all of the passion for I was like, I could have been doing this the whole time. So now I feel like I'm catching up with it. So then I got a super basic.
At least you started back into like a new version of it. I mean, of course, sewing is sewing, but it's a whole nother ball game now.
Right. Yeah. I started. How do I sew with a 3D printed textile? Not how do I sew. So it's the all the different zipper feet, and I'm still using my very basic sewing machine I got on Prime sale for like $179. So I started. My first 3D printer was December of 2022. And the sewing machine was a year later, December of 2023.
So you're
pretty new,
so fresh into it. Yeah, I mean, even at this point, I mean, we're 2 years into it, and I mean, you've created how many amazing designs. So like the clutches and the hoods. I know some of the stuff, like a hood, is probably a pretty basic template. But do you go off of templates that are out there, or do you just kind of, I know I want this shape, this is what I need to do? Like, how do you come up with the ideas on the designs?
So it depends on what I'm doing. I think the very first, before I knew anything about patterning myself, this is a good example. This is a cloak from Twig and Tail, is the patterning. I think it's a magazine, but this is a piece that's much larger. That is, I think it was 33 different prints and a 256 build plate. So I didn't know necessarily how the hood pieces came together until I did the pattern and I understood, because I had never done anything like that before. Of
Yeah.
like, hey, here's the pattern.
Where
Use
do
some
I start
fabric.
and how do I get there?
How do I connect the pieces? How do I make it larger? How do I make it, that not, it's the laying awake at night until finally like, oh, why don't I try this? Okay, great. So now I do pretty much, I do a lot of things from scratch, where I will take a piece of paper and I'll just start sketching. And then I'll take just a muslin cloth and cut out a rough template, or that's probably buried, too far in to get it for an example. But it's fun to then take the pattern piece and transform it. I am working on, this is this evening's, I'm working at a glasses case,
Okay.
printed in TPU. So with TPU,
okay.
it's like a leather feel for it.
Yep.
So where are the holes lining up on there, and when that is sewn together on both sides,
Perfect.
this is a little bit too wide unless I add a little, crimp or something at it.
Into it, yeah.
And that's what where I'll sew it, and then I'll look at it and think, how do I fix this? And a lot of it is just sitting there looking at it, or taking that mental image and then letting my brain marinate on it of, how do we increase that curve, or heat form something?
This, or
Totally.
So now a question on the cloak that you showed. Of course, that's a huge print, and I know you said it was multiple plates. Something like that, is that just multiple plates and then you join all those pieces together, or do you use like kind of a big piece and print some and then shift it and print some, or how do you go about the larger objects like that?
I do that all in Shaper 3D is the CAD program that I use. And I'm still trying to progress and get different tools that can make it go faster. When I'm using that pattern, the cloak pattern, for example, I imported all the PDF files into my CAD program and linked them all together and made it, they were all referenced to size. And then I made a hexagon or an octagon pattern, whatever that was, a hexagon grid pattern that was 1 meter by 2 meters tall. And then I just made a sketch on it and extruded everything like a cookie cutter.
Okay.
And then took the build plate size, knowing, hey, I can fit this chunk of hexagons on a 256 build plate. I'll print this as plate 1, this is plate 2. And then, you go down one row, and then it becomes 3 plates, 4 plates, 5 plates, until you get down to the bottom where it's 6 full plates of those hexagons. And they all join together because you're segmenting them apart and pulling them out. So it's not just a straight cut line where you're slicing it. It's the you're weaving the shapes, cutting off the excess fabric in there.
So now then the mesh that you use, are you, like, all those, of course, being multiple pieces, are those then sewn together like in the back? Like, because that looked like a solid piece. It looked like it was just a one giant sheet of hexagons. Is that mesh strong enough to hold like the stitching together?
So no stitching. The only stitching on that is the outside. So once I had I'll pull that up again. I think I can find this break pretty easy. So this side is the fleece lining, and this side is the 3D printed textile. Okay. The part that's holding it together is the sewing, the seam that goes all the way around.
Okay.
So this is one solid piece, of fleece
fabric.
And then when I get, let's see, I might be able to see it better on the camera than. So do you see this line?
Okay. Yep.
Let's see if I can
barely, but yeah.
pull that up. So on the back side, it is really hard to. I lost it now. It's UV curable resin. So
Okay.
I'll trim off close to one edge, to the edge of one panel, and I'll leave the fabric on the panel next to it. And then I'll flip them
Overlap it.
upside down, overlap them, put the UV curable resin, and
That's smart.
I'll link it up and I'll do, panel by panel until
Now,
they're
with
all
being the
they're all
UV
together.
curable resin, is it just it's a thin enough coat that it allows it to still flex, so it's not so stiff?
Because you're only attaching it on the actual printed part itself, there's no flexibility that's damaging.
Okay,
You're
'cause
not you're not solidifying the mesh.
gooping it up.
It's right. Yeah, it's a very fine tip where I take like a needle and I dip some of it in there and then just, one or two drops on there. I
Okay.
tried with a 3D printing pen, but it was too rough of a surface and it didn't solidify as well as the resin just soaks through and then you zap it with the
And then it
UV
hardens.
light. Yeah, and that's it. Right.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's I always wonder because, like I said, especially once you held that up, and thinking that is huge and it looks like one piece, but no, that's kind of at that point when you were doing that. Well, that was probably months in or a year in. I don't know when you did that in your journey. Is you're figuring all that out yourself, right? I mean, was there a tutorial out at that time of like, oh,
No.
you want to mesh together multiple pieces?
No,
Yeah,
there
it's
was none of that. There was the going to the craft store and looking at different adhesives and looking at different, figuring out, well, I can only get so close if I'm sewing something. I mean, even
Yep.
today was the first time that I used, I don't know if this is visible or not, where this is a mesh piece on a white lining.
Okay.
And let me take it off to see. I don't know how many sewists there are in chat. Let's see if I can
I know
get
what
this.
it is. I know what sewing is. That's about as far as I go.
So there's a thin border above that red frame
Okay.
that I did a zigzag stitch to secure. You might be able to see it better on the back, the actual stitching
Okay, yep.
itself, where I'm securing that piece onto the back lining. Where before I didn't have a piece that I was sewing around, it was just loose fabric. And then once you sew the fabric, then you're left with the pieces that you have to cut to make it a clean finish. Whereas if I can cut off all the excess mesh and then line it or put it onto a piece of apparel, it's going to be a much easier transfer.
Yeah, and it's going to be just a more seamless look.
Yes,
No
yeah,
pun
absolutely.
intended.
Right, yes, yeah.
So now, is that of course you have the mannequin there? Is that going to be? Do you do that often? Where like you would take a jacket, for example, and kind of place the pieces on it, or do you always just kind of go with a pattern, do the flat pieces, and sew them all together? Like,
well, and that's another great question. I mean, if you look at this example here, this is just a square, like a 9-inch by 9-inch square. I don't know if that might blend in pretty well. Yeah.
It looks like a rough white back of a jacket.
Rough white back of a jacket. And then let's give it a little bit of color with that UV light.
Okay. Yeah, I seen you do that with some of the stuff at Joel's.
So that is the UV.
Awesome.
So this seam from the jacket starts right here and it goes to here. So if I wanted to put this fabric in the seam inside this panel, I would have to cut this before I print it to then create the seam allowance that would go right along the seam instead of having 2 inches over here and an inch over here or however it is lined up.
So now what you just did there, is that a UV UV reactive but not glow in the dark? Like what? Like I'm wondering how you just made the magic happen.
So I have a couple different and let's see if I can.
Somebody walks outside with that on in the daytime.
Exactly. Yeah. UV light. Yeah. So we see no color on the right hand side, a little bit of color on this side. If I take just a regular UV light and do a little bit of, exposure to it, then that will charge the UV filament. And then in between 15 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on the color, the blue dissipates faster, the purple and orange stay longer.
Yeah, I
So
guess I was unaware of, and you can say that the brand, it's perfectly fine. Is there a brand? Is that like one single brand that has that many different UV reactive colored ones? Because I usually don't see
this
that
one,
vibrant.
right, absolutely. This one in particular is called Toxin 3D, Toksen,
Right.
and they reached out to me a couple of months ago when they saw that I was using the only two other filaments that I had were from Inland. That was a red and a purple, and they said, "Hey,
No.
we have some UV reactive filaments if you'd like to try them out." And
Yes.
so I was like, "Yes, absolutely." So now I have other other brands that I'm not familiar with that are reaching out and saying, "Hey, we also have a UV reactive filament. It might be a different shade or a different color." So I would love to have all of the different UV reactive filaments. I mean, you're talking
Absolutely.
uh, the, for example, that quantum dot filament that Protopasta came out with,
Protopasta. Yep.
just beyond bright. And then let's see if this one's the same. Oh, yeah, this is a similar one with the white nothing, and then
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look into some of that stuff because that is
that
very
the
cool. I
stained
mean, we've had
glass type of
UV
thing.
reactive stuff, but it's, I think it was orange and purple. So now
Yeah,
what I'm
and
thinking
there
is,
are
you probably had this idea is, especially like how you have the UV reactive shirt. I believe I'm quite a bit older than you. Is back in the day we had the temperature T-shirt, so you
yeah,
like put your hands on it and it would change the temperature. So there's of course temperature changing. I think actually in my travels and everything, Polar the filament has some of the best, like more sensitive temp, because we have temp changing ones, or we I think we're revitalizing some, but it takes a little bit of an extreme temperature change to get the color change. Polar had one where you could kind of touch it and pull it off and you could see it, and that I think would be another
pretty
amazing way
immediate.
you could do the textile shirt, just a heat reactive, put your hands on it, and got handprints on you, or
With a
whatever.
totally different message on it. I have these
Yep.
are my 4 drawers of specialty filaments, and the top drawer I think I have 14. I went on the kick of temperature reactive filaments first a
Okay.
year and a
Yeah.
half ago. I was like, oh, there are temperature reactive filaments, and then it
What was
was
your
glowing.
experience with that? That most of them are kind of extreme temperatures. It's not so much just touch and let go, and it's changed, or is it kind of variable?
It is with my testing. On the lower end was 91 degrees, and on the higher end it was 97 or 98 degrees that it had to happen. So if you're out
Oh,
in
yeah.
you know a colder environment, or where your extremity blood flow might not be as hot versus being indoors and putting it on, it's going
Yeah.
to be a different. But it's the interesting part of trying to do that. It's oh, there you go. Yeah, DJ Midnight Wolf. You remember those shirts? You could tell things.
Yeah.
So I think in the little armpit area, it's nice to have UV reactive or some other effect with it.
Yep.
The glow in the dark was the other aspect that I loved. And I'm gonna turn this off. I don't. Oh, and of course the stencil that's a totally different aspect of having the 3D
Yeah.
printed textile as a overlay to create
Transparency.
a backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's not even the glow in the dark one.
Another UV
Well,
reactive one.
yeah, UV reactive. Well, I printed quite a few of them, and glow in the dark. Here it is.
Well, that's what I thought when you were using the UV on that the jacket. I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be glow in the dark. But as soon as I seen the color, I'm like, that's not glow in the dark.
Not quite. And I do have a couple ambient lights behind me.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can see it.
But I love the hidden messages and all the different color aspects, and I'm
I
a
think
I'm a fan.
that's too is I don't know if it's the reason we don't really see that stuff anymore. Back when I was growing up is probably cost and just the and of course being kind of a niche type of fashion. That's where I think 3D printing, of course, what you're doing is perfect, because you don't have to mass produce it. You don't have to buy a giant container of whatever the chemical might be to get the reaction. Like you buy a $20-$30 spool of filament, maybe a few of them, buy some fabric, and then off to the races you go. And it's
where this is 10 grams of filament.
Yep.
You're printing 3 layers.
Minimal
So
price.
some of these rolls I've had, for years, and like, wow, I'm still not. I don't know. I don't have the consumption that when originally when we started, we were doing a lot of the dragons and the octopus and all the random little knickknacks.
All of us
and
have, yeah.
and I was, realizing that there was a consumption at that point, and now that I'm not consuming as much, then it's really I'm running out of space.
You get the filament in quicker than what you're printing. Well, that's the other thing
Yeah.
too, is kind of what you're doing, and of course it depends on the design. You're not using a lot of filament. I mean, these are very what's the typical thickness of a hexagon tile on a textile?
Yeah, it's my usual layer height is 0.24 millimeters, 3 layers, so it's 0.72 millimeters thick.
Yeah, so not much at all. You can make quite a bit with it.
Right. Yeah. So it's I just got a TD1S at West 3D, and I am starting to now get the hex codes, this new software that I'm using that pixelates designs, pixelates photos, and turns them into a textile. Has a color picker where I can put in all my colors, and it will then spit out and say, hey, you need to use these colors for this particular method. So I have another 24 color print that is I think this one right here. It's like a butterfly forest scene, and you probably won't be able to tell it from just this one portion, but this is a 24 color print with different gradients and
all
different
details and
all the details of that. So the Starry Night is next, I think, of making a bag. You have something that's one size. This would be a piece that I would link together for a top. So this was, I believe, the bottom left hand side of a crop top. And I'm just stoked to see where things go, technology goes.
You say now, so the software, what software do you like? So of course, because those come in, whether it be squares, hexagons, whatever you cut the images into, what software are you using to do that in?
So that in particular is called pixelart3dcreator.com. And it's somebody in my Discord. They made it December 11th. They live in England, and they wanted to make an easier way to pixelate items for textiles and to create grids in between. So it's still in beta mode. He still changes it every day. He's now implemented an embroidery section. So now it exports as a PES file. So instead of exporting, you choose your color palette, and then you export, and that's all your individual objects that you then color. It exports, it tells you, hey, this one is blue and this one is red, etc. Based on the filaments that you put in the library. Prior, it was just hex codes, and then I mentioned, hey, boy, it sure would be nice if it told me what color it was instead of the hex number. And 5 minutes later, it's like, okay, try it now.
There's
so it's kind of like HueForge on Fabric, taking that photo, and then you can make it into any shape. So it's not just a square grid, but you can make a triangle grid or your own shape. You can edit and create your own.
You're doing like a custom shape bag or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly. A little drop-down menu, and then it's an axis of whatever you want your shape to be, a star or whatever.
And I'm coining the term Fabric Forge. I'm coining that now. So if
we tried. I think Fabric Forge. We looked up. Color. I think Color Forge. No, Fabric Forge, I don't think we did a little Google search of. This one, pixelart3dcreator.com. Yes, that's the one. So you can request access. There's kind of a basic where you can then pick and you can make your own pixel grid. So we have one person in our Discord that they've been making Pokemon for the last month of just like 8-bit, 16-bit, all the original Pokemon, and then now moving on to more advanced ones. So it's fun. And then
does it export as STL then when you create it?
Yeah, exports it as an STL file or multiple STLs depending on how many colors you want to print with.
Throw in there,
and then you can upload all of your prints to the community if you want to share what you designed with other people, and they can download it. And so that's awesome. 2 aspects, and then the third aspect is there are multiple effects that can then change the photo and the pixelation. So if there's a bulge or a swirl or an augmented optical, it's a blast.
Tons of stuff.
It's one of my favorite. I've been waiting for a software like this for the last 2 years. One of the original reasons why I made a grid pattern was to be able to go into the slicer and paint it pixel by pixel.
Easily,
but the time it took was I did that one time, and it was like 6-hour project for what? Absolutely. My eyes were it was brutal.
Uh,
So then when he, I stopped that, and then he popped open in Discord, and he's like, "Hey, I just made this. Check it out." And it was like the clouds parted and just the sun shone. It was such a
so
beautiful
was it
day.
somebody that was part of your community that decided to code
Yep.
it? Oh, so it's just
Yep.
see, and
Yeah,
that's where
he's
I
a
say you never
software
know what you're
engineer.
doing, how it's going to inspire somebody, and that's just right there.
Absolutely. And how you being in the Discord and having multiple inputs of, oh, it'd be cool if, or is this, can we do this? And he's like, well, not right now, but give me 5 minutes.
Especially
So,
too,
and
as
there-
in a group of people that are like-minded, that are doing the same type of stuff. Like you typically, most of you, probably 80% of what you want is the same, that 80% of other people want, of features and whatever coding changes, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to have that skill set is it's a really fun. So now
But it
other
worked
people
out
are
really
getting
well.
embroidery machines. Yeah, he's excited for it. So we don't know where it's going to take him, but it's the potential is really fun.
Well, I think, like I said, as we always talk about it in our community chats, and of course on the show, I've talked about it. Is 3D printing, of course, is mainstream. I mean, it's easy, accessible to the consumer. It's only going to get that much easier, and more accessible to more and more people. And again, especially as there's more and more options to where you provide a design that I can just go download, put on a piece of fabric, print it, and then maybe I learn some sewing, or maybe I have somebody else. Maybe I pay somebody
Sure.
else. So is there's so many different ways that you can improve your fashion, and improve daily use of things. Like we said, is how many things do you use fabric on? There's and I always say to say cliche is, with 3D printing the same way, is the sky really is the limit. It's where's that creativity, where can it take you? And there's every event I go to, people I talk to, I am impressed every single time. There's always something new, like how I would have never thought about. Well, just for example, this conversation, the UV reactive stuff onto a shirt like that. I walk outside into the sun, and then boom, all of a sudden this special design, whether it be fun, silly, cool, or just a message. Maybe it's something inappropriate. Who knows? Give it to a friend.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome. I think of another way of just not thinking of what I would use UV reactive stuff for. I've bought some. I've had some, of course, that we've made. And I've printed stuff. Is usually I print a flexi or something just to showcase the effect. But how do you use it is a whole different thing, and that's where people like you, the community, has inspired me many times over. Of no, you can use it. You can actually use it in this way or this way. So, hats off to you on the skill set for sure.
The use case scenarios just keep expanding with the message of the UV reactive was a great example of people needing an indicator of how when too much sun is too much. So, on a cloudy day, we don't necessarily expect it, but for those that are extra sensitive, and hey, you look down and your shirt is pink, it's like, wait a minute, I'm got to take a step back.
There's actually quite a bit of UV exposure. Yeah, that's I learned that many years ago. Of I think even just growing up, was told that sometimes tanning, of course I didn't tan, but my sister and everything and her friends, that sometimes tanning is best in somewhat, I want not overcast, but partly cloudy day. It's not necessarily a direct sunlight that is always going to give you the best tan.
Right.
Sometimes when you don't think that UV is out there, especially as you said, if you're sensitive to it, it makes a huge difference. So, hey, okay, that's time probably to go in.
Absolutely. And there are many different kinds of mesh. There's a question there, is he printing onto fabric? So anything that you can see through, you can print through, as long as your layer height exceeds the fabric's thickness. So get yourself your calipers and measure the mesh that you've got at your fabric store, and then increase it by 0.02, just make it a little bit taller so it's extruding through the mesh and not dragging the mesh around the build plate.
And then real quick question I have kind of based on that is, on the mesh, because I've seen it done in the one way of where like the tile, say for example hexagons, to make it easy, do you print a thin hexagon, then mesh, and then hexagon over that, or is it to the point now that you just print right on the mesh and it integrates with it?
No, so you always have to have a first layer, and that's crucial for the holographic effect is the vital part.
Oh,
so
that's right. Okay, yeah.
Because we're printing face down, we need a first solid layer, then the pause happens, mesh goes down, and the second layer prints through the mesh, and the third layer encapsulates it like you're making a little sandwich.
Clasp or okay, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the weave is too tight, for example, the question is, why do you have to see through the fabric? If you can't see through the fabric, there's no way for the filament to go through it. So in that instance, you're going to be going on the realm of printing onto fabric, which has its own different caveats that I have not explored. The durability aspect for me is not, because it's not creating as,
they could peel off and fall off.
I've worn this hoodie countless times. I've washed it 24 times. There have been 0 pieces that fall off. It is integrated through the mesh, and it's solid on there. So I wouldn't do it any other way, but I'm a fan of the shiny and being able to sew it on there. So
awesome.
So if you have so I have on YouTube, I have 2 long form videos that are 30 to 45 minutes each that will take you through the process of the different types of mesh that I use, the different plates that I use, how I hold down the fabric, how I take the prints off, how I combine them, how I design things. All of the basics are covered there. So if you have questions on it, go check that out. And then if you want to try it, is this an okay time to mention absolutely. Where they could find stuff?
Yep.
If you go to any of my social media pages, in the link tree, there will be a link to go to all the different places. I'm Kaizen 3D Prints across every social media platform and on thangs.com, which is where I have all of my models. I have free files on thangs.com, and there are PDFs that are included with all of those files. So there's more in-depth guides on, hey, we just printed this purse, but we don't know how to assemble it. Okay, here's the guide on how to assemble it and put it together. So when in doubt, start there. My Discord is public. There's a Discord link in that social media, in that link tree bio thing, where we're active and we're a growing community of people who want to create fun things with textiles. So if you want to expand what you're doing with your 3D printer and you want a community that is like-minded, that's the place to go.
Perfect place. Yeah.
That's about it. I think I plugged you get the models. If you're not a 3D printer, you can support me on coffee.com, buy me a coffee, and that helps with any other costs in the workshop.
It helps keep them up late at night. More
exactly.
Designs, more awesome creations.
And then another thing to note for my Thangs members, I do a giveaway once a month in Discord. Last couple of months we gave away P2S and 2 P1Ss. So it's a way to give back to the community. Yeah, with rolls of filament, P-flat sheets, fabric sample packs. So once a month you guess a number between 1 and 999, and then we do a giveaway. I stream every Sunday on Twitch from 12 to 3, 4-ish. Same thing, Kaizen 3D Prints on Twitch. And that's like the open office hours. So if you have questions or want to talk about a specific problem you're having, then you can jump on there.
The community chat.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Bearded Printer has won. We laugh every time. He's been a coffee member since the very beginning. We have different tiers like $5, $10, and $20 memberships. And he has won so many times. He has to have like a dresser full of the things that we've sent him by now. It's great. So yeah, if you say you know Bearded Printer, then congratulations, because you know a pretty cool guy.
And it might give you a little bit extra luck through association.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we root for the right people to win.
There you go.
So,
and real quick, so we're kind of coming to the end. I'll open it up real quick. Is anybody else that has any community questions? I know we've answered a few there. If you asked one, we missed it, ask again here, and anything that you want to know about what Kaizen's doing, what he's planning on doing, etc., ask away. And then I'll get him out of here and let him have his day back. Let's see. Inquiring minds want to know, do you use a special sewing machine and needle?
So great question. I use a Brother ST371HD. It's a very basic sewing machine. The 2 stitches that I use are a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. My favorite zipper foot is an adjustable zipper foot. Sorry, my favorite presser foot is an adjustable zipper foot. And the needles that I use are either jersey needles, ball needles, or stretch needles. They're all similar. If I need to sew through something, then you can use a universal needle or a leather needle. You can sew through the 3D printed textiles as long as they're not more than a millimeter thick. They will leave a little bit of damage, but if you need to, you can.
All of that was foreign. I just know what a needle is, and I know what a sewing machine is. And the one thing the thing that is always intimidating with a sewing machine is that, have you ever, I mean, do you nick your fingertips, or is it pretty? I haven't used a sewing machine in ages, and when I did, it was probably just to throw a piece of fabric through and show that I can do something.
Sure. I have an industrial sewing machine in the garage that's like, it's a 1-speed, so it just will sew through anything, and it doesn't care if it hits your finger. Whereas this one, if it hits your finger, it's going to be like, we can't sew through that, so we're not going to. So unless you're deliberately trying to stick your finger in there, it's hard for the space to get your finger in there. I use like tweezers, or a little like a long pencil that's not like a dull pencil, I guess. I'm using just a sharp pokey stick. So yeah, industrial machine, scary fast. It's a fun process, and I always sew with my shoes off. I'm a sock kind of sewer.
Is that just for the feel of the pedal?
That's just for the feel of the pedal, of being able to do the variable thing. And sometimes I'm just hand turning the drive shaft and just doing one stitch at a time.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I did with this today, because I didn't want to, when I was doing that zigzag stitch over the border, where I was just manually.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
skill set. It's one Res 3S overall cost to make one print. Obviously that's going to differ on size, but I guess what's the range?
So when I'm working with the designer, the printers charge $10 per print hour. And if I'm designing something custom, I'm charging $100 per print hour. So for something that is like a custom applique for a wedding gown, for example, it might take me 25 minutes or 30 minutes to design something, and the print time might be 3 hours. So the total time might be $75 or $100, that type of thing. I don't think I've had a custom order that was less than $50. And I've certainly had orders that are in the thousands of dollars when they're doing full dresses or full, much more complicated
pieces.
Yeah, where it's more design time than actual print time. So yeah, it depends on the complexity and the amount of time that it takes, and the amount of colors. I mean, that's another big
color change, everything else, and
squishy material if you're printing with TPU, or if you're printing with a high-speed PLA. It's all different.
Oh yeah.
Can I talk about your filament for a minute?
Absolutely. The good, bad, and the ugly. We take all feedback.
Well, so I organized the filament, and I don't know if you can. So up in this corner right here, this is where the Polymaker stuff goes.
Okay.
And I think I got 8 rolls from you. Thank you for sending me that filament. And when I was organizing the things, I was like, I already have 9 other rolls of Polylite, and I had the Marble and the Starlight Comet, Starlight Meteor, and some golds, and so I was already versed with the filament.
Some of the filament, yeah.
The difficult thing, and this is I couldn't even call this the bad part. Purchasing the filament on your website, the naming of it was a little bit weird. It was like, I didn't know all the different kinds
the old stuff, and then you're coming into the new stuff. I was like, well,
right,
what's different?
What's Polylite, and what is the so anyway, resetting my brain.
Yeah.
Polyterra is Panchroma now.
Yeah, so Polyterra was our matte, so now it's just Panchroma matte. So what we've done is, it does make it confusing if you have old stock versus new stock and you didn't see the transition. New consumers coming to it now is everything is pretty much labeled what it is. Panchroma matte is our matte finish, Panchroma satin, Panchroma silk. So we dropped because it was same confusion when we came out with Polyterra. Was nobody had what's Polyterra? What does that mean? And Polyterra pretty much,
I thought they were earth tones.
It just meant matte. Yeah, it was. And it had minerals in it. So minerals were used in it. So there was naming, there were reasons behind the naming, but it was confusing. So now the problem is if you have some old stock and then you come back to the site after, we got the Panchroma Fiberon families. Yes, it does. But yeah, the Polyterra and the Panchroma matte, exact same filament, just a different rebrand. I mean, there's a lot of it. So the pretty much everything that's Panchroma was something before. Polylite PLA, silk PLA is now Panchroma silk. It goes across the board, but you usually say too on the product page, I think we still maybe display formerly known or previously known as whatever. But yeah, that's
we've had currently there's, because I think I got the satin colors, so there's satin, silk, and matte. Am I right?
Glitter and sparkle and starlight and celestial and
so starlight and celestial. That was the other thing I think the mix up of. What's the difference then between starlight and celestial?
So starlight is a base color with a different color shimmer. It's a more solid or opaque color. Celestial is more of a translucent color base, and then the shimmer is matching the color. So if it's a light blue translucent or semi-translucent light blue filament, it's then got like a light blue shimmer. So the shimmer matches the color.
Got it.
The starlight's more of a color shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I just need to order some more and get the hands-on experience after printing. So
sure.
So this is printed on the H2C, and this is with 7 colors, just primary colors, and white with orange as the grout. It turned out really nice. There was no flow, no change of parameters, just generic PLA all the way.
Yep. That's what we tell people right now. We're working on getting that updated, but right now with really, especially all of our PLA, generic PLA is if you don't want to tinker and mess with stuff, generic PLA. Could you get better on some of the stuff? You can fine tune anything, but generic PLA will get you a great result and have no or to very minimal issues.
Yeah, absolutely. This was the other fun thing that I printed. This is the benchy that is the torture test benchy with 1,500 color changes, 1,500 swaps. Jeez. So there were a handful of issues. So one of these took 17 hours, but there was virtually no poops. But the prime tower was, I think, 3 times the size of the benchy when I loaded it in. So that's when I thought, I'll make 5 of these and have the models be 83 grams and the prime tower be 60. So I'm not wasting as much in ratio. Yeah. And the nephews love the benchies for bath time. So this one will definitely sink. This is a total of 7 colors. So this is white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. All the Panchroma satins. Yeah. Looks
good. A nice little what do I want to say, graffiti style boat.
Yeah, it looks like for me
was it already painted, or did you just go in there and just paint through it?
This was already painted. This is a torture test from the Filament Brothers, I think it's called, on the Maker Lab thing. So and I think I look at it as a OSB, oriented strand board, like plywood type of thing. How everything's just kind of mixed in there.
Random striations, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how they colored that, what effect that was, how they colored that in there, but that would have taken a long time to get all that stuff done.
That's what I like, having all the access to printables, Maker World things, is I can rely on other people to create this stuff, so I don't have to. I can just download, send to the printer, and print.
Yeah, and that's the best part about the community is we're all teaching each other things and encouraging other. It's been such a blast.
Yep. No,
I mean, meeting you up at Joel's, what a fabulous time. Can we talk about that for a second too? And the generosity of Polymaker. I mean, just what a fun time.
Just to be in the studio, of course, it's always great to be around like-minded individuals, but I mean, there was different people from the industry, different content creators, and like everybody was talking at one point, and it was a good time. It was just positive energy. It was obviously for an amazing cause. I've got 5 children of my own, so to be able to give back to something like that is awesome. But yes, it it was a very good time. That was the first time of me being in the studio too, and I 100% plan on coming back next year.
Fabulous.
sorry,
Well,
this
as my
year.
first time there, yeah, this year too. Yeah. Hope to have that invitation. Absolutely. It was just a blast.
Oh yeah, no, good times. Well, I like to leave, or not leave, but end everything off with just a few rapid fire questions. The first two questions always being the same for every guest, and it does not. I always preface two. The answers do not have to be Polymaker. But the first one up is, what is your favorite color or surface effect filament currently?
I think I'm most enthralled. So the most recent one is the cool gray color shifting PLA from Ambrosia. I got the last roll of it there, and then I made a reel about it and got 50 messages saying, "But it's sold out. It's sold out." And that's this one in the center that is it's a white, but it's a blue, and
Okay.
it has an iridescence to it that is really cool that I haven't seen in a lot of other filaments. And then the quantum dot filament, that's the neon, really bright
The
reactive,
bright stuff, yes.
is another one that I'm testing galore. So,
Awesome.
and
Can't wait to see
PHA
the
on the
prints from
horizon.
there.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Second question I like to ask is, out of all the things you've printed and created, what is the one print that you're most proud of?
Oh, dang, that's a good one. I mean, I this cloak was a fun. The impressive part is I made this in 2 days. That I had a party. There's a band called Pick Martini, and they've been around for 30 some odd years.
Okay.
And I was invited to their Christmas party in Portland. I made my wife an outfit, a 3D printed skirt, and I made a friend a dragon scale dress. And then a couple of days before the event, I realized that I didn't have anything of my
Made it
own.
for
So,
everybody else except you.
but they were all done, and I had, I think, one roll of this burnt titanium that I split among my 6 printers
I love the
that I
burnt
had at the
titanium.
time. And I just, okay, here you go. And within 8 hours, I had the pieces printed, and then the next day it was assembled. And I was sewing about an hour up until the event, making
Jeez.
the hood and then the straps for it and how this connected and this going over. I had never done a grommet, like a snap, before with leather
Yep.
pieces. So, I used
So
the too
they
small of a
did it in
size.
that short of time and learned new skills during the process.
Yeah, and it's just held up so well. I wear it, I wouldn't say all the time, but often enough if I want to feel like a superhero.
Yeah, no, I would wear it. Like I've never worn a cloak, but I could definitely rock that. I wear bright blue shoes now just because it gets attention, and then it gets an excuse to talk about 3D printing when somebody asks about it.
Absolutely right. Yes, that's
Just baits
if
them
I go
in.
out, I have to ask myself, do I want this thing to take twice as long by wearing something shiny to have people ask me about, or do I just want to wear a
Yeah.
normal hoodie?
My wife is used to me talking for hours upon hours anyway, so it's just going to be part of it. That's what it is now. Like I said, and that's many times is, if everybody that looked at the shoes and in their head were thinking, what the heck are those, had stopped and asked, I probably would have reached about 1,000 people by now. Not everybody wants to say something, but the ones that do, hey, what shoes are those? Like, they explain the whole thing. Like, oh, it's 3D printed, and then it's down the rabbit hole of 3D printing. Well, I've heard of it. What is it? Well, it's this. And yeah,
my grandson just got something. Yeah, what?
Yeah, my brother's sister's neighbor's person that walks their dog just got a 3D printer. Let's see. The last question I ask is, of course, you got a lot of different designs, dragon scales, of course, different shapes and design shapes, designs. Not to keep saying the same thing. Is hexagon the best bestagon?
No, hexagon is not the bestagon. Bexagon.
Okay.
That was there's a book that I take if I fly, and it's the origin of shapes and patterns and all of the different things that are created with a dot and a line, and how all of those things, I find it so fascinating. So I don't think that there's one best shape, but I do love symmetrical cylindrical patterns. So if I'm making something and I can make something pleasing to the eye in a circular fashion, I will do that. versus a linear like a blockade or something that is
Kind of a puzzle piece together.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, that's a great answer. I'm glad that I asked. But then last question that I'll ask, and I know we've already mentioned some, but if somebody's looking for someone who has a skill in textile 3D prints, really cool fashion pieces, maybe has a Discord, maybe does a Twitch stream, etc., who might they go search for, and where can they find them?
Kaizen, Kaizen 3D prints. And so you remember it. Kaizen is a Japanese business term for a consistent, deliberate 1% improvement. So one layer at a time.
Ah,
We're not going to be a master sewist tomorrow, but if we can learn what a needle is, or if we can talk to
little
somebody
by
that
little
knows
by
what a needle
little.
is, incrementally, we are going to expand the workshop and then have 700 colors to choose from.
I never realized it had actually a little bit deeper meaning. I actually I appreciate the name even more. I just thought it sounded cool, guys in 3D, but that yeah, and like you said, is improve 1% at a time, and eventually you're going to hit 100%. And if you keep at it, 200%. You're going to excel.
Yeah, there's not a hard limit on that. It's the consistent search. I worked at Trader Joe's for 15 years. 10 years in management, and that was one of the core values that always stuck with me was Kaizen. So
awesome. Well, a lesson
anyway,
learned, and it was great meeting you, getting to know you. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I look forward to maybe working some awesome designs and projects with you here in the near future.
absolutely. I'm going to jump on your website and look at the Celestial line right now.
Let me know. Yeah, once you get that cart created, hit me, shoot me a message. I'll get you taken care of.
Okay, sounds good.
See you,
All right.
Daniel.
Thanks for your time. Chat soon.
Yep. Thank you. Bye. And another one in the books, Daniel, Kaizen 3D prints. Like I said, when I met him at Joel's, just the energy, which through the videos, you see his energy. You see his energy and his passion for what he's doing. In person, it's just amplified. I mean, you feel it, the body language, everything else. He was just as excited as me for being just there. But like I said, and he had all the stuff laying down. And when I was looking, I was going through it, figuring out what I was going to steal. I didn't steal anything from him. There was many things that if I would have been on video call with Ari, my daughter, she would have been like, Dad, I want that. Can you get me that and that? But again, just amazing designs, a very awesome skill, and a really cool thing to learn about his name at the end there is, and that goes for anything, whether it being 3D printed textiles or any skill, improving a little by little, you'll get there. So that inspiring. So I appreciate that last bit of information from him. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about him and what he's doing. And if you're thinking about doing what you kind of seen just a little snippet of during the interview there, go follow him. Go follow him on all the socials. Join his Discord if you're wanting to get some help getting into it all. I know sometimes a new, even if you're 3D printing, a new form of 3D printing can be overwhelming. That guy, I have no doubt, the community that he's built, I'm not part of the Discord, I'm sorry. I will have to join. It'll just be another project that I add my list of textile 3D printing. But I have no doubt with his personality, his energy, that's a solid community. So if you need to learn more, need some support, go check him out. And then after you do that, go check out a few things we have going on. I'll mention real quick is if you guys haven't been part of the show the last couple weeks, maybe the last two shows, Polymaker Figurines has ended. I now have information on what we are going to be doing with that account. The account's not dead, it's just the figurines project has ended. There will be more stuff to come. I don't know what I can announce, but I at least know the direction it's going. So if you're following it, don't unfollow it. It's not going to get shut down or deleted or anything of that nature. Don't keep following it. There'll be some fun stuff coming to it soon enough. That's !PMF if you want those links and you want to follow to wait and see and be surprised what we bring to that channel next. That's across all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Other than that, we also have Polymaker Labs, !PML. That's hosted by Polymaker Sean. He is dressed up as the Polymaker scientist, giving you the tips, tricks, and troubleshooting to your heart's desire for yourself, your friends, your family, or your foes, anybody that's into 3D printing. It's a lot of information that is then also put into our wiki at !wiki at wiki.polymaker.com. Pretty simple. There's a lot of information there, and what you learn there from Sean and short snippets of the videos and TikTok, you can also learn by searching it there, going through all the information. There's an AI chatbot that's doing pretty good. It's still learning some stuff, but continue to use it. It's going to get better. Provide us the feedback, the positive, the negative, whatever, and anything in between. We want to improve that to be an amazing source of information for all of you printing, from brand new printers to the experts that have been in it that don't like to admit they sometimes need help. It's there for everybody to learn from. So go check that out. And last but not least, we have IPC in printing color, hosted by Pezliz over at twitch.tv/Pezliz. And that's where she goes over kind of what we were talking about with Kaizen. There is the different ways of using colors and how you can use it in different forms, like the UV reactive. I've never thought of a good valid way of using it other than just showing it off, but in textile. And she's doing that with different colors, all the new stuff we have coming out, plenty of more new stuff coming. So check her out there. That is on Wednesday. She does that stream. Pezliz Presents is also another project she is working with us on to help build our designer platform to be able to have amazing models to display our new product in. So all the marketing that you see, all the cool little pictures and prints, we always want to give credit, and we like to have that permission from the designer. We don't go download all these free models and just use it and assume that it's okay we use it. We like to work with the designer and let them know that we appreciate them, and then give them the credit there. So she's helping build that portfolio. Pezliz Presents typically on Saturdays, sometimes Sunday, where sometimes she'll interview those designers. Sometimes she'll go through their portfolio to give you an idea what they have and what you might see through marketing, through an email, or on our website in the future. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, we have a giveaway. I was waiting. Where did that? We have a giveaway. I'll give you a chance real quick. Type in "I am awesome" in chat, just as you see there. Even if you think you might have done it, not sure, put it in there anyway. They'll give you a chance to win some Polymaker product here in just a moment. And let me see. Okay, and we do have a raid out. Oh, and YouTube, if you guys asked any questions today, I am sincerely apologize. I didn't have my multi-stream on. I was all on Twitch. I just now realized that. So I was not purposely ignoring you if you ask questions. But if you go to join his Discord, I'm sure if you have any questions, he would be more than happy to answer. But we're going to do that drawing here in just a minute, because supper is probably up waiting for me. And this guy, I've got to eat, you know. He's raid. Okay, it is going there. So we are going to raid out someone we just talked about, Pezliz. She is actually celebrating her first year Twitch partner anniversary. So we'll go show her some support after this drawing. Now, she knows who we are. We can tell her, Polymaker said, what's up? And congratulations on the 1 year partner anniversary. But with that said, I want to count down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to draw and see who we rigged to win. Joel, let Ari know I'm wearing that. Hey, it's Joel. Ari, I don't know if you're watching upstairs. Silverback still has his bracelet and is wearing it. Hey, there we go. There's a new name. Silver Raven Coyote over on Twitch. Make sure to reach out to me. Join our Discord at discord.polymaker.com. You can message me there. I'm Polymaker Joel, or !contact in chat. It's going to give you my email. Let me know that you won on Meet the Polymaker January 15th, 2026. That is all for the show. Appreciate y'all. Always love the support. You guys are awesome every single day. We will catch you next week. Be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. for the community chat. Come hang out with us and talk shop. Talk to you guys later. Tell Pezliz hello, hello. See you guys later.